Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Transfer Talk. I'm Diyar and today we'll be uncovering the latest rumours of the day. As always, if you do enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe so you don't miss out on any new content. And without further ado, let's get into it. The first player of the day is Nathan Ferguson, a right back who plays for West Brom. According to Sky Sports, Palace are ready to make a late move to sign him. A move for Ferguson fits the bill in terms of Palace's plan. They are in desperate need of competition for Joe Ward and are keen to bring down the age of their squad. This is a good player to be linked with. We need a right back. I mean, going into the season without a right back was suicidal from Palace. I mean, there needs to be competition in the Premier League, even if Joe Ward can do the job. And Nathan Ferguson, where does it fit in? So he's in his last 6 months of his contract at West Brom. So some tabloids are suggesting that we could get him for as cheap as £4 million. And if it does come down to that, then it's a risk worth taking because he seems like he's a good footballer. He's good on his feet. And I mean, £4 million nowadays for Premier League clubs, what is that? Basically nothing. And it seems like his wage bills would fit our requirement as well. So overall, it seems like he is fitting to Palace. And looking at some West Brom fans and what they're saying about him, it seems like they're upset that he wants to move on to a bigger club due to the fact that it seems like he's after money. And no surprises there. Well, you look at Wilfried Zaha. I'm not saying that Wilfried's purely after money because he does want a chance at a bigger club, but some rumours were suggesting that with his move to Chelsea, it didn't happen as one, Chelsea don't want to pay the 60-70 million, but also Zaha's wage demands, which was around £200,000. I mean, it's expected. You want to move to big clubs and get better pay. It's not only football, it's with every job in the world, really. So I have no problems with that. And if it does happen, I won't be upset, but we'll see what happens in the coming days. It seems like there's a possibility of that happening, and I think his contract and the fact that he's on his last 6 months helps us massively. The next player, I mean, today there's been contradictory rumours regarding Jamal Lewis, who's been linked with a move to Palace. So according to Football Insider, they were suggesting that we were closing in on a permanent signing of the Norwich City left-back Jamal Lewis. However, later on in the day, local Norwich newspaper, the Ping Un, have reported that is believed to be wide of the mark with no discussions ongoing regarding a surprise exit for Lewis to Palace. So when you look at Jamal's situation right now, it was very difficult for him because he dropped out the Norwich side, I think, due to an injury, and since then he hasn't had much game time. And I guess another move to another Premier League club in Palace, which we seem right now anyways that we're more likely to stay up than Norwich, wouldn't be that much of a bad move. However, when you look at Norwich side of things, the report that later on came out from the local Norwich newspaper makes sense because they're already in a difficult position as it is. So losing more players, especially young players like Jamal Lewis, who's only 22 years old, and I think would fit perfectly in that sense to the Palace squad because we need to bring the age down, would be difficult at this time of the transfer window as well. So I guess if we offer something ridiculous, then it makes sense that they would accept it, but I don't see us doing that really. And what is ridiculous, in honesty, I'm not too sure what Norwich would want. So I think it's a bit of a difficult one, but if it happens, I guess it might be down to Jamal actually pushing a move because he might want to come to Palace. But overall, I feel like, as I've said, really difficult one because Norwich clearly don't want to lose him. So the third player is Adel Rami. Palace are considering making an offer for Fenerbahce centre-back Adel Rami before Friday's transfer deadline, according to The Athletic. He wants to leave the Turkish Super League side after just making 5 appearances since joining last summer. What I've seen from Rami, which has been very limited in all honesty, but from the Fenerbahce games that I've watched and the games that he has played, the first game he played for Fenerbahce, I haven't seen him play that off the pace and struggled that badly in the Turkish Super League as a big of a name as Adel Rami. I mean, he's played for the French national side, so he's not a small player, but he's 34 years old. So this move really doesn't make any sense to me because right now, as our squad currently stands, do we need another centre-back? I don't think so. And it's not getting another centre-back. He's 34 years old, fair enough. Maybe experience would be good, but honestly, he has looked so off the pace when he has played at times for Fenerbahce, which isn't encouraging to see. You look at the Turkish league and you compare it to the Premier League. If he can't do it there, then how's he going to be able to cope with the football here? Difficult one, but I personally, I would pass it unless we saw a likes of Scott Down and need a replacement. Then maybe it makes sense like that, but for now, I don't think so. One player whose name has been going around all January transfer window is Connor Wickham. So the latest with him is that Cardiff City have joined the race and are willing to pay more than Sheffield Wednesday to match his wages and take him on loan for the rest of the season. Well, Roy Hodgson has spoken about Connor Wickham. He says that he can't really guarantee him much game time, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if he does leave on loan. However, if he does leave on loan, then you look at the striking options. I mean, 1 or 2 injuries and we're in a massive crisis right there. So we haven't got massive depth. So I guess if he does leave on loan, we do need a replacement. And right now, I'm not too sure who that replacement would be because we're not really clear favourites to sign any other strikers. And it seems like our main priority is fullback, especially a right back, which does make sense because we've needed one since the summer. So it's a bit of a tricky one. I guess he needs game time. It makes sense because he's been injured and you can't really get that at Palace. However, if he does leave and let's say we do go in another injury crisis, then what happens up front? Because we haven't got much options. Bit of a weird one, but I guess if it does happen, I can see him moving on loan on deadline day. But it'll be interesting to see if we do bring in a replacement. The final rumour of the day is Patrick Van Aanholt. So according to Sky Sports, Palace have received a 4.2 million bid from PSV for Van Aanholt, but the bid is likely to be rejected. Bit of a weird one. I mean, Patrick Van Aanholt's name hasn't been mentioned until really today. PSV going back to Holland, I guess that could be a possibility. But right now, I don't think we should really be considering it unless they up their offer because as we're talking about right back and left back, we haven't got many options. I mean, Diyar has fitted in there, but then you sell Van Aanholt and you're in a similar position right back and you only have one left back available. So I don't think selling him for a fee around 4.2 million makes sense. I know some of you may want it to happen, as I know the fan base is kind of frustrated with some of his performances, but just have to think about depth. Right now, we're in the Premier League and we're struggling with fullback. So selling him without bringing another replacement, which the replacement could have potentially been Jamal Lewis, but it seems like Norwich aren't keen on selling him, so it doesn't seem that is likely, would be kind of ridiculous for Palace to do. And let me know what you guys think. How much would you sell him for? 4.2 million for me sounds a bit too low, it's considering the situation we're in. But maybe if they increase the offer, some of you may be happy and maybe the club might be happy and sell him on. But I guess it'll be really, really surprising if it does happen this late on in the window. That's it for today. Hope you have enjoyed the video. As always, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any new content. And until next time, up the Palace.